Good morning-ish. Where we left off yesterday is I learned how to use the machine for the first time. I know, all those years of fear for nothing. Yesterday, I was talking a little bit about how I wanted to make slopers. So I looked into them a little bit more, and what I found is they're basically just another name for the basic block thing. I think, oh, not me already forgetting. I just looked this up last night. But basically, there's a bodice one, there is a pants one, a skirt one, a sleeve one. I don't know. I don't know if there's another one. I found a tutorial because that book that I was talking about, actually, let me go get it. Hold on. Okay, this one is the one I was talking about. It's called Singer Perfect Fit. I know I'm a betrayer. I have a brother and I purchased Singer merch. It kind of doesn't really tell you how to make those block patterns that I was talking about, but what it does tell you is kind of like how to adjust fits. So like how to add a bust dart or like gaping armhole, minor adjustment, major adjustment, small bust. So maybe that'll come in handy when I actually understand what I'm doing a little bit more. I thought it would be fun to make the bodice one first, and we'll see kind of how it goes. I took all my measurements for that. I found this tutorial, and she was super detailed. So I feel like I watched the whole thing first and I already took my measurements. Wow, I'll show you. Here is all of the measurements that I took for the bodice block. We are going to get started with this. I already forgot where to start. I think it's like on butcher paper that she uses, and we have plenty of that, luckily. This is definitely not big enough.
That's because I just woke up from the nap.
God, is that what I look like? Today I finally had it. So basically after the last one, I had a bit of a crash out, a little bit of a crash out, not like a big one, but enough to like cut my hair shorter and spiral a little bit. So then here we are. I put together a little outfit, basically the exact same top as the last one, like, you know, the triangle situation. I had the same issue with the bust line, like right here. Because as you notice, when I'm standing like right here, boobs aren't even in frame. You know, big booby girly, heavy booby girly. Because they sit so low, I think that's the issue here. I tried to do a little bit of like research into how to fix that, and basically everybody and their brother's mother is talking about an FBA. I don't know what that means. I mean, logistically, the words put together make sense to me, but like, did a little bit more research, came to realize kind of the idea that a sloper might be a good idea. Basically what it is it's like a flat pattern of your bod. And let me tell you, I think it was like 21 measurements. I'm following this tutorial here, and you know what? Very informative. She made it a lot more approachable. So like, thank God, bless her soul, because I was very overwhelmed. Some of the tutorials that I found on YouTube and stuff were just like, as a little newbie beginner, little baby summer sweet child, I was very overwhelmed, very overwhelmed. And now I'm going to follow her tutorial on how to actually put the measurements down onto paper. For pattern drafting. So you need this bodice so that way you pattern drafting. Pardon my appearance, I have crashed out several times. I had to take a break because nothing was working out. I didn't realize I also have problems with measuring, reading comprehension, or listening skills, patience, nothing. So basically those 20 measurements that she took, that's fine, probably. I don't know. At this point, I'm second guessing everything I've ever done in my entire life. Using those measurements, you like plot it on the graph. The graph? That's kind of what it feels like at this point. Am I in the middle of crashing out still? I thought I had calmed down. What I decided to do is take a beat, and I am just going to watch the entire video step by step. It's not only just your measurements, there's also specific measurements that you have to add, like 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch or whatever the fuck. But the problem is I do all of my measurements in centimeters because you're more likely to get a whole number, which is, for my little brain, was a lot easier. But with all the conversions that you have to do, I didn't realize you had to add like an inch, 1/8 of an inch, whatever, in order to make some of these marks. And because of that, that's like really throwing off the vibe killer for sure. So obviously for ones like this where it's like 50 centimeters, like that's fine, there's no adjustments needed. But for this cross shoulder one, you have to subtract 1/8 of an inch. I didn't even know those existed. And my measurement for this one, of course, was 17.5 centimeters. How do I add 1/8 of an inch to that? So yeah, I cried. I'm taking a break, and I'm going to write down some of these new measurements just to like help with that, because I was also having the issue where like my some of my measurements like weren't hitting the lines that they should be hitting. So I don't know if I might even have to like remeasure myself altogether. I don't know if I even like fucked it up to that extent, but we don't know. I kept having like comprehension issues where she was saying you add 1/4 of an inch, and my brain was registering that as 3/4 of an inch. I've always been a self-sabotager, but I didn't know that it was in like all things. I thought it was just my relationships, but okay. I think it's just beneficial at this point if I just do all the math in one sitting before I lose my mind again. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll get right back into fixing the points that I messed up, because of course this was 1, 2, 3, about 14 placements and line drawings roughly in before I realized I messed up.
It's time to move on to the back. So how's it going so far? Isn't this an interesting process? I know I love it. And if you're enjoying this video and the process, make sure you subscribe to Sewing and Escape.
I literally totally forgot about the back. There's a front and a back. Oh no, I have to do this again.
Okay, I pinned my bangs back, so that's how you know it's serious. Okay. I really think I'm gonna have to remeasure because look at how big my dart is. That cannot be correct. It's practically a like horizontal line. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to, I don't know if I messed up the measurements or if maybe that's just what my block looks like. So I'm gonna just keep checking though until it gets to the point where I can cut it out, use it as a pattern, and then sew it together and see how it fits. So I'm having trouble trusting the process when I'm pretty sure I failed the process with the beginning measurements. Oh my god. You guys, golly. I really don't think I did this right because there is no way I'm gonna get these lines to touch. She wants this point, and this point to create an armhole. The only thing I can literally think of is that my measurements were incorrect. That's the only thing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for my mom to get home because she's at work like a proper citizen. And I'm going to have her retake my measurements for some of these. I feel so defeated. I feel defeated. Like, golly, like I didn't think that it would be this hard to take some measurements, plot them in, and draw some lines. You know what I mean? I'll check back in with you once I remeasure. I probably need to shower. That usually calms me down.
That looks so cool.
Listen, please pardon my appearance right now, and please pardon my air purifier blasting in the background. I'm having a bout of insanity. Well, I meant to say insomnia, but insanity works too. I literally cannot stop thinking and hyper focusing on sewing that bodice block. Like, it's consuming everything about me. And that invisible zipper will not be here for another like 2 to 3 days. Can't do anything else until I know if that fits, and it's haunting me. Everything on my For You page is like sewing, and I was like, I want to, like, I just need to break free. So while I'm over here in my insomniatic life and just like lamenting about how, one, I can't sleep, two, it feels too late to take a melatonin, because if I take a melatonin at like 1 a.m., that's like a 7-hour thing. So like I won't get up until like 8 a.m., which is like way too late. I was watching YouTube trying to take my mind off of the hyperfixation of like, does it fit? And I noticed that's an invisible zipper. I love these pillowcases. They're the best. However, I love sewing more. So can't I just seam rip this bad boy right out of here and then fix this with one of the new zippers that comes in? But I don't know. I don't know if I'm just spiraling because I so badly want to finish that bodice block and want to figure out if I was successful and if it worked, or if I'm just like needing to go to bed. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll see you in a couple hours when I probably decide to take this apart, only for it to not work. Update. You need an invisible zipper foot. I just watched the whole tutorial. I don't have a zipper foot. So I won't be picking apart my pillow. There's that. But I will be having that overnighted. I might as well just wait for all of the zippers to get here tomorrow. So What a bummer. Note to self, always watch the tutorials fully through before doing anything. So.
Well, there are several types of zippers. The invisible zipper feels the most.
Why she got fucking yell?
She's killing me. It's kind of crazy because it's only like a 5-minute tutorial. That feels wrong. I feel like it should be like a 25-minute one or something.
Remember, don't fuck with your zipper until you're done watching that.
Time to learn how to put in a zipper. An invisible zipper even. I've never even done a regular zipper. Feels kind of crazy. But, you know what they say. You gotta run before you walk.
Do it before you start. On each side of your eventual zipper seam, do a basting stitch at the seam allowance line in a contrasting.
Okay. Time to sew. Oh, I'm scared. Okay, this is not going badly, but we'll know in a second when I go to zip up this zipper if it actually works or not. And normally you would backstitch, I guess, but this is my tester, so I'm going to rip this out.
Why you giggle?
My fucking bobbin string ran out.
You played chicken, didn't you? And you lost.
Bloody hell. Oh my god, that's so much. That's so rude. Actually, that kind of worked out because it started getting off track, so now I don't have to pick it.
Blessings in disguise.
Yeah, so maybe that was for the best. Because that probably would have been a way more severe crash out.
Oh, yeah.
Hoof it! You saw the fit issues that I had, but I have no idea how to correct them. So I was trying to figure out how to manipulate darts and figure out like how to move everything and fix it. And I ran into this video. It's called by the Closet Historian, called Dart Manipulation Explained. And the way that she draped the bodice block basically within like 5 minutes blew my mind. Now I'm gonna try that, and my mom said she would help me because she's been watching me crash out for like 5 days straight trying to figure this out and not getting anywhere. And I just feel like this video is a lot more like beginner friendly. The other one was very technical, which is fine, but like for right now, for what I want and what I need, I think this one's gonna be a little bit easier and quicker to kind of like understand, you know what I mean? So let's try this again. literally just woke up. It's like 8:30 in the morning on a beautiful Sunday. And I am determined, and sorry, I'm speaking kind of quietly. Everybody's sleeping. So I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of things that I have to do differently because I already semi-tried it on last night. And I haven't even sewed the invisible zipper on this version, but I think the boobies are misaligned. Anyway, let's do the dang thing. Let's sew the zipper in. Look at that. Perfect. That's something else that I learned too. I would pin like this, right? Like that's how I was pinning. Apparently, you're supposed to pin vertically. So in case you didn't know that. Uh-oh. Wonder where we're off. Trying to get this zipped up all the way, tough. Very tough. It like fought me. So the fit isn't bad, but I don't think it's good either. The armholes are pretty tight, but I think that's because I also have like the 1/2 inch of seam allowance here. So I'm wondering if I cut that off, if that would like make any difference. It's on both though. You can kind of see this line where it like goes down. So I wonder if like I take that 1/2 inch off, if that would be like the perfect fit. The back of my collar also is having a little bit of a fit issue. I don't know if you can see that, like right here. It's like there's like a little bit of gapping here. I also just realized I don't know how I'm gonna get this off because getting it on was already a nightmare. Oh. I'm amazing. The way I could actually cry right now. I did it. It fits. And I'm not gonna lie, the armholes need to be fixed. This needs to come down a little bit here and like open up this armhole a little bit. And the waist is a little bit big. Like should probably take in the waist darts a little bit, but the boobies fit. This has been like the bane of my existence. That's how the back looks. It's definitely, you could see the drag lines, which just goes to show that the armhole's a little off, but I'm not even kidding. This is like this maybe 5th or 6th version that I have tried. This has taken me, no joke, maybe 8 or 9 full days. I'm going to link the playlist that, no joke, I could not have done this without. I think I watched maybe 4 or 5 other videos. None of them worked for me the way that this one did. The channel's called Minerva. Is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because I'm not gonna lie, I almost gave up. I really almost gave up. By I think like maybe the 6.5 day,
and maybe the 7th or 8th bodice block that I put together, and it didn't work and didn't fit, and it was just wrong. Nothing ever felt closer. It was awful. But I did it. It's done ish. There's definitely little tweaks. I just can't believe it. This is like a dream come true. I honestly feel like I'm gonna cry. Whew. Okay. As a beginner, I'm not gonna lie, I think that making this bodice block was how can I say this while being nice to myself? It was a little bit above my skill grade. You know what I mean? Because this was hard. This was really hard. A lot of the videos made it look so easy, and everything was like practically causing me to crash out. I would say like the first 2 times of it not fitting right and not working, or like even being relatively close, that's when it stopped kind of being fun. You know what? Let me count how many there were, because tons. I don't even want to take this off because I'm so proud of it. It's not even funny. Okay, let's count the ways, shall we? Version 1, look at this shape. Look at her. She looks crazy. This was the Anastasia So one, which she did teach me a lot in terms of how to pin a dart. I would say that was helpful. There's so many, I'm dropping them all. She had a lot of interesting like information. It was still like helpful. And I don't know if maybe I just took my measurements wrong too, because my measurements throughout this entire process fluctuated so much. It's crazy. Here's like V2. This is the second version that I have of my back, because the first version, oh, actually, you know what? Oh, that's why. Okay, so this is technically the first version and the second version all in one. Because if you notice on the bottom there, I had like that taped extra. It's because like my length was off. Again, I think I had a lot of problems like measuring with my measurements and stuff, like not being quite accurate, because I even had my mom help me, which did help. That solved a lot of issues, but at the same time, there were still other problems. I think once I hit version 2 of my back, like I was good. And then that's when I started banging out these versions of the front bodice, whereas where I had all the booby issues, it's not even, there's technically another version, because that's the kind that I draped using muslin, because I thought that would be easier. That's the one from the Closet Historian that I found. The way that she explained the darting process, or like how she drapes and stuff like that, awesome. That was very beneficial for me. And so this is version 2 of the front. And this one I think was maybe the closest, because if I'm kind of looking at this, actually, it's very similar to what the actual pattern that works is. So the only difference is my dart was ginormous. It was way too big, as well as the armhole and my shoulder slope was off. Fail. This is version 3 of the front. This one, oh my God. I really think this is about where I started to give up, because I think this was a solid like maybe 2 to 3 days of workshopping. I made so many changes to the muslin. It was like Frankenstein together. Learning that I needed to start basting everything together, except for the darts, of course. The darts, regular sew helped me, and then basting the rest of it is where that came in handy here. So I learned how to do a lot. I learned how to sew an invisible zipper. I'm also a pro at pinning darts. Oh my God, so many darts. There's so many darts. What is it, like 7 darts per draft, if you will? So like the idea of pinning a dart right now kind of makes me want to jump into the street. This one was pretty close. The only problem was the positioning of the dart was really bad, so it caused a lot of like front gaping here. And yeah, this one definitely made me like crash out quite a few times. There's a lot of like it's like shredded here in the back. You can kind kind of see that because I was so over having to undo the paper, and like it was a whole thing. This was also where I noticed that I didn't have to put seam allowance in the armpit, or the armhole, or the bottom, because it was literally wasting time because I don't sew there, you know? It's good to have like a version for when you're making like a skirt or something like that, or something that had sleeves on it. Then like I can add that in on my tracing paper, which that was another thing that Minerva definitely introduced to me, was the idea of tracing paper. So you have like a block that you make everything on, and then you trace over it, and that's kind of like where you can make your changes and stuff before you like finalize it onto your bodice block. Changed my life, stopped me from ripping out my hair. This was version 3, and if you notice too, look at the shoulder. The shoulders, I don't know if you can see this because I'm like holding all of these versions, but the shoulder is crazy. Like originally this is what I had, right? And then somehow I got this weird, crazy, like super slope, which my shoulders are very sloped. That's true. Technically a 4th-ish version was this second pattern here where I did this crazy like dome shape thing. I was getting really desperate at this time, and this is about where I started thinking like maybe I should scrap the whole thing and just give up. I'm glad I didn't, and technically, I have another one that was up there, I think, from when I did this the very, very, very first time I started it, and then I was just like so confused and I just gave up. So technically, I think there's like maybe 6 or 7. And then this one, this is basically that version where I had cut it out because I thought that maybe this was the answer. There's a little bit of water damage from my tears, but like it's fine. I had so many problems. The seams didn't match on the back panel, as well as it was too short. It literally, everything was wrong with this one. The dart placement is really bad. Like I don't know what the hell I was thinking with my dart being like so close to the armhole. Like I don't know. Fail. This was like the best thing ever. This was game changing. The only problem with this one was the first one I drafted, this is my like second to last like final version, if you will. But when I drafted this one, the only problem was it was way too short. I have a very, very, very long torso. And so my measurement for this, I think it was like nape to waist, was like way off by like 10 centimeters. So it was off by like a ton. Like and the apex was off because I have a very low apex because I got faggy boobies. This had it drafted like where my apex would basically be like here. And I said, girl, I wish. Okay, I wish. But no, like 10 centimeters below that. So this one ended up being a bit of a fail. At that point though, I was like totally cool because it was the closest thing that had ever fit me. So when I don't know if I took footage of it actually, because by this time I was so fucking over it. I kind of wish I had, because I feel like it would have been good for the plot, you know what I mean? Final one is up there. It's still connected to the paper because I was way too scared to cut it in case I needed to add or subtract length or whatever. So like I just didn't feel comfortable doing that yet. So it's still attached to the paper, so I can't show you, but that is the final draft and it's almost perfect. That's the one that I have on today. That's this little number right here. And besides the whole like armhole fix situation, which is why I have these like drag lines here, and I feel like I sound so knowledgeable when in reality it's just because I've watched these fucking videos like 800,000 times in different ways. This feels great. This is like almost like a perfect fit, other than the armhole and fixing the waist, which is definitely a little bit too big. That feels snugger. That feels a little bit better. And then obviously it would just be transferred to this side as well. So let me actually go take this off before I break it and spaz out. Much better. I'm so glad it's over. I'm so glad it's over. It was really fun at first. It is no longer fun. But now that I got the results that I wanted, it's fun again. I think I'm going to end this here. I don't know how long this video is because like I said, I have like 6+ days worth of footage of me just like drawing things on paper pretty much and them being wrong anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Bye. Ugh. I'm gonna sleep for like 3 days.